hand thing
Yeah,
is not coming
go
from.
ahead.
Guruji, one question is from
Really?
on the aspect of binding
Uh-huh.
and non-binding desires. Um,
Yeah.
Having a job, keeping the job, excelling in the job, uh, desiring for a promotion or getting more. i- All these are binding or non-binding. Sometimes having job becomes binding, but sometimes we feel like getting promotion or trying very hard for or excelling in the job becomes non-binding. It's a struggle for to understand what is the difference between these two. Where should we you know stop this about not trying is also not possible. You're at a competition place where you just sit and do the work like for 20 years. Nowadays nobody keeps us like that, so
Nobody keeps us like that. Interesting. So go ahead, Mohan Sai, introduce yourself also.
oh,
We
okay,
are
so
we're doing that since the
yeah,
last class. Yeah.
I am Mohan Sai Krishna. I am from Hyderabad. I came to know about Guruji and the Asha Seva Kendram when I came across an invite in Facebook about Bhagavad Gita classes. So this is my first class. This is my first course in with the Seva Kendram. Um, I work in Microsoft in Hyderabad. Um, I was previously in the States and all that, uh, but now fully settled in Hyderabad for the last 12 years. Uh, and I always think it's my uh, privilege, or I am very lucky to be part of this group and to be part of Guruji's teachings. My interests basically are mostly reading through scriptures and all this. Uh, so that's who I am. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Good. So and Mohan Sai also conducts discussions in his office, whenever possible, 15 minutes, half an hour discussions during lunch. So they discuss Bhagavad Gita and so forth. So that's a very interesting way to have a lunch, lunch conversations over Bhagavad Gita. Very interesting. So, question is the desires we have, basics, sustaining ourselves and our family. Okay, this is the basic pursuit of a human being. Are those desires binding or non-binding? Okay. Now, a person who does not have the vision of the whole is bound to have binding desires. Okay. So we can't suddenly from tomorrow say all my desires are going to be non-binding. We can't do that. We can't do that because the vision is not there yet. So therefore, the way we take it is we appreciate the voice, the wisdom, what the wisdom can do to a human being. I, I do things in order to be happy. I have to sustain myself there in order to be happy, and therefore I have to earn a living. All this is true. But for a wise person, that thinking is not there. I cannot become happy because happiness is my nature. There is no becoming process. Yes, that wise person also has a body. That wise person also is going to become hungry. That wise person also needs a shelter. All these things are there. But now, the idea is going to be entirely different. I'm not going to become happy. I need to sustain myself. That's the way I'm made. Everybody is made. And we will do whatever it takes. But becoming insecure is not possible. Because Atma is fundamentally secure, fundamentally full. So therefore, to answer your question, yes. So we have to, the way we take it is, this is why our Shastram constantly encourages giving up. Give up things which you can live without. Correct? This idea, even food also, upavasa and all, once in 15 days, you give up. Don't don't eat. Just drink. Have fruits. Don't go after your favorite chana bhatura. Live without chana bhatura for a while. Can you or can you not? Ask yourself the question. If you say, no, I can't live without chana bhatura, then this Krishna statement is going to remain with Krishna. It is never going to come to us. Correct? Therefore, these things are good for us to think about. And so our sadhana can include times where we don't do certain things. So we live in an ashram sometimes, and we can spend a few days in the ashram. And ashram, these days ashrams are all, they come with fully furnished and cottages and all that, and they have everything, air conditioning and this and that. But those days it was not like that. And so when you go to an ashram, and be there for a week, you are without a lot of things you're used to. Television won't be there. And so you try to create a setup where you can say, I will live without these things. Pandemic is a good example. These days, thanks to this corona, we've all learned that we can live without so many things. Is it not? Is it not true? Look at that. There is a bright side to it. So, without going to visit somebody, you can live. Without going to entertain yourself, you can be happy. So, this is to appreciate. This only tells us that I really don't need all the things that I think I need. So we will continue to discuss this. So that's hope that helps somewhat, Mohan Sai.
Jaykumarji, the whether desire is binding or non-binding, it's an attribute of not an attribute of the desire, but of the seeker, right? Basically, based on the maturity of the person who has that desire, right? If he's mature, then it's not binding for him, but for somebody else, it may be binding.
Correct. That is correct. And we see that in our life, right? Even among 2 children, 3 children, you can see one child is upset at this and that, the other child is very giving and isn't upset at all. How is it possible? Doesn't behave like a child, behaves even more mature than an adult. So clearly it's an attribute of the person, not of the desire itself. These are all clues for us to say, no, desire is good. It's a blessing to have a desire, but I will not let myself become victimized by that desire. Yeah. So Mahesh, go ahead.
My first question is, I need a translation of the sloka 255. I couldn't write it down.
Which number again?
There's the translation for sloka 255. I couldn't write it down.
Okay. Yeah, I can do that. So let's do that. So shloka number 55, which is Prajahati Yada Kama. That shloka. So when a person gives up all the desires as they appear in the mind, Yada Sarvan Kaman Manogatan Kaman Prajahati, and then Atmanyeva Atmana Tushtaha, happy in oneself, with oneself alone. With oneself means without the need for anything else. That's the meaning of with oneself. O Partha, O Arjuna, Kama, that person is said to be one of...
Slow, please.
So when a person gives up all the desires as they appear in the mind, Kama, happy in oneself with oneself alone, Kama, Hey Partha, O Partha, that person is said to be, Uchyate is said to be one of firm knowledge. Sthita prajna. Yeah, did you get that?
Thank you.
Yeah, Vijayji, go ahead.
So, Guruji, this also goes with the other thing that we spoke about earlier, tapas, right? Austerity, exercising something of that also would go hand in hand with this. Like you said, giving up certain things, right? That's kind of tapas. You're self-inflicting certain things on you and going with it. So, does that go hand in hand with not having desires?
Yeah, exactly. So, for example, I'll give you an example. The desire to talk, to keep on chatting with somebody or the other. Feeling restless if you don't watch WhatsApp. This is all like a kind of restlessness, right? Because I need to be active. My mind has to be active. I need to be constantly engaging with somebody or the other. This is a disease. This is a disease. So in the ashram, what we used to do, of course, we were busy studying. So classes after class after class, and then meditation, and then puja, prayer, and then seva in the kitchen or in the ashram. We used to do all this constantly. But then, in that time, we used to do what is called vak tapas. Vak tapas means maunam. Maunam. Don't talk. And what we used to do, we used to have anybody can follow this at any time in the ashram. So, unilaterally. So they will, somebody may choose, okay, for the next day, I don't want to talk. For the next week, I don't want to talk. For the next month, I don't want to talk. What they'll do is they will put a little, what do you call that? A signal that says maunam. Okay, like that, silence. So indicating to others also should know that that person is following that regimen, that tapas. Then, so we don't talk with that person. So that's a tapas. It's very important. At home, one can practice this. You can start simply by saying, for the next 1 hour, I am not going to talk. Please leave me alone. Means, please, I will leave you alone and you leave me alone. That is the meaning. And people are happy. Kids are also happy. Yeah, that's great, mom. You do that. I want you to do more. Why 1 hour? Just 2 hours. Amma, you do it for 2 hours. I will keep quiet. You do for 2 hours. So this fellow can be at home peacefully, and so practice that. That tapas is so important. Like this, yeah, there is so much that we have in our culture, and typically this food and talk, because this mouth area is where most of the problems apparently happen, and so food and talking, that is enough. One part, one organ, one of the body, like that. So like that, everything comes in that category. So, and a married person doing all the homas, etc. So now this Pitrupaksha is there, and they have to do tarpanam for 15 days. Tarpanam for 15 days. My God, tarpanam once a month they do. That's one thing. But here, once in 15 days, every day they have to do tarpanam. That is the thing. And the brahmanas have to be invited. They have to be taken care of. And when you do the homa, it can go on till 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. So you can't eat anything until that time. So you have to be hungry till 3 o'clock. And it's all normal. For our parents and all, it is all normal. Now it appears a big thing. That's just because we're constantly used to munching something or other, watch TV, keep on munching. And if something is not there in the hand, there is a problem. No, we can grow out of it because we are capable of it. So we're not asking one to do something that is not possible. It's clearly possible. So yes, you're right, Vijay. these austerities, if you want to call it, are important to invoke that attribute in us.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead, Haraprasad.
Okay. Mahodaya, a couple of questions. One is binding desires. If you have the attitude of a karma yogi, can you do that binding desire with your utmost ability?
Yeah, exactly. That is exactly what karma yoga is meant for, and it's meant to, because that vision is there. Ishvara, everything is Ishvara. So whatever I get is from Ishvara, and so I give my best and I accept whatever comes. So that itself takes you towards converting a binding desire into a non-binding desire. Karma yoga converts a binding desire into a non-binding desire.
Okay.
Yeah, think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the kartvatvam will not be there.
So yeah, kartrutvam to a large extent will be sublimated.
Yeah.
Because the focus is more on doing what is to be done,
Yeah.
and there is no anxiety or reduced anxiety, I should say. And therefore, yeah, the doership is very much there. See, for an ajnani, doership will always be there.
Correct.
And so we accept that. But it is not manifest to that extent. That extent that it stops you from doing things. Okay. So yeah.
I thought it was, Jayakumarji, I thought it was the doership is not there because you offer everything to God. It's Ishwararpana Buddhi. So you are not the doer, right? So you offer, but you do your karma, but say Krishnarpanamastu or give it to God, the doership. So I think the doership sensation will not be there.
Yeah. So go ahead. After this, we'll have you introduce yourselves. So.
Okay. Shall you want me to do?
1 minute. Let's finish this discussion and then we'll do that. So doership can only go by self-knowledge. Okay. Nothing else can remove doership. That's why I said by the attitude of karma yoga, to a large extent, the doership is in the background. It is there, but it is there in the background. Not completely gone. Not completely gone, because the vision has to be clear. Once the clarity comes, then the doership will automatically go away.
So it's a step lower than Sthita Prajna, Karma Yoga.
Correct, exactly.
Okay.
Karma Yoga is a means to gain a state of mind which helps that person know the nature of Atma clearly. Then when the knowledge is clear, then kartrutvam is gone. It's gone.
Sorry for the interruption. Thank you.
So like when the snake is seen clearly as a rope, then the snake is gone. Like that, as crystal clear as that. Not vague, okay? It's not a vague recognition. Good. So Mohini, you go ahead and introduce yourself.
Okay. My name is Mohini. I am from Columbus, Ohio. I've been student of Jayakumarji since the Tattva Bodha class, and I do Sanskrit, learned Sanskrit grammar from him, and then we did a little bit of Vedic chanting, and also Bhagavad Gita now. So hope to continue this and learn a lot. I've learned a lot from him, and I hope to continue. For my livelihood, I'm a physician. I'm an anesthesiologist. I specialize in cardiothoracic anesthesia and pediatric anesthesia. And I work in Columbus, Ohio. We have Vedanta classes here in Columbus too that helps us. whenever I don't have this is what I'm interested in apart from my day-to-day activities is learn about Vedanta and our scriptures and try to be a good human being. This is I've been trying and hopefully one day we'll be able to do it.
Yeah,
Thanks.
originally, where are you from, Mohini?
Originally, I was born in Maharashtra, grew up in Hyderabad. I studied at Osmania Medical College and then got married and then moved to Ireland and then subsequently to the US.
Okay. Your mother tongue is Marathi or Telugu?
Marathi. I'm married to a Telugu guy.
Oh, that's very sad. Okay. Good. Both are good. Telugu, they say, is a very sweet language. Very nice. Always nice to the people whose mother tongue is one thing and live in another state. They have an advantage, right? Because they get to learn two languages, etc. So that's always good.
Definitely.
Haraprasad, you go ahead and introduce yourself.
Jaykumarji, Mohini knows a lot more languages than just Marathi and Telugu.
I know, thank you. I know Kannada also. I know Telugu, Hindi, English, and like Sanskrit. I'm learning still.
Don't be afraid, Mohini. I know you can say I know Sanskrit. You can say that.
Okay, I will. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Haraprasad.
Yeah, yes, Mohoday. I'm Haraprasad. My last name is Sastry. I was born in Mysore, brought up in Bangalore, moved to US about 50 years ago. I'm a nuclear engineer. I was a nuclear engineer by profession, and now my main interest is Sanskritam and Vedanta. And Jaykumar started, we live in Bel Air, Texas, which is very close to Houston. And Jaykumar started about 8.5 years ago the Bhagavad Gita classes in our house. And we just finished all the 18 chapters just about a month ago. Now the interest from the group is that they want to start on Tattva Bodha, which we are going to venture. And I'm so thankful to Ishvara that I have come across such a fine group of people. And I'm learning quite a bit from Jaykumar, and I'm thankful to him. Appreciate all the help he is giving.
Nice to have you, Haraprasad. Good memories of all those weekly Bhagavad Gita classes in your home.
Yes.
Haraprasad had a nice home and a nice big large table, and then we used to sit around the table and study. So it was definitely a lot of learning there for me and for everybody. Yeah.
Thank you.
And somebody else. Yeah, go ahead, Haraprasad.
Yeah. Is experiential pleasures, does it come under binding or non-binding? Experiential pleasures.
So, the question you have to ask is this. Are you all right without fulfilling that desire? Or are you going to be heartbroken?
50-50. It depends on what it is.
Yeah. So that question, only you can answer that question. Guruji also cannot answer that question. Okay. So Swamiji also cannot answer the question. You have to answer that question. So that's the and so whether it is experiential or not, eventually everything can be brought into the fold of experience. But sensory pleasures, etc. So everything comes under that. We have to ask the same question, which is, is this desire, must it be fulfilled in order for me to be happy?
All right.
It's a tough call. It's a tough question, right? And that's why we have a journey here. We have a sadhana. We have karma yoga. All that will come in handy.
Okay.
Good.
Okay. Thanks. Dhanyawad.
Somebody here. Okay. Good. No other questions. We can probably have one more person introduce themselves. Raghavan, we have not seen you in a long time.
Namaste, Guruji. So yeah, this is Raghavan. I'm staying in Chennai. I work for Tata Consultancy Services. I was born and brought up in Hyderabad. I studied up to 12th standard in Hyderabad and moved to Chennai. So basically, I'm native of Chennai only. And I came across this course in Facebook, and since then, like it's been like quite a wonderful learning journey for me. And I'm also interested to learn more about Vedanta and our scriptures. So like I'm really grateful for this class. I wish to learn more about Bhagavad Gita and even join future classes.
Sure. So good. Yeah. So how are things in Chennai?
Actually, the cases are still increasing, and though it is unlocked, right, like unlock 4.0, but we are not venturing out. But I think everything is open, but we are still trying to stay indoors.
Yeah.
Because the cases are increasing. Even some of my relatives are affected and they are hospitalized. So we are not sure how it is how they are contacting the disease. Still, we are not sure.
Yeah. So we need to be even more careful now than before.
Correct.
That's the message. Okay. All right. So we'll have maybe one more introduction and complete for today. Yeah, Srividhya Sudhakaran. We're not able to hear you though. That's the only thing. Yeah, even though you're unmuted, we can't hear you. So maybe the cable is not hooked up properly or something like that. So no, can't hear you. So let's.
Yes. Now, can you hear me, Guruji?
Yeah, now we can hear you.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Srividhya Sudhakaran. I live in a place called Arayapuram. It's a village near Mayiladurai. My husband is chartered accountant basically, but he's running his own manufacturing units. We make rubber molded components for automobile, mostly in rural areas like Mayiladurai. Here, some of the villages here, and one in Pondicherry and one in Dindivanam. I have two children. My son, who's just now married, he was married on July 12th. Last month, and I have a daughter who's doing her undergraduation in Cardiff University in journalism. That's it about me.
Yeah, good. So undergraduate in which university again?
Cardiff University, journalism.
Cardiff.
Media and journalism. She's done.
Yeah, she came safely, no, from.
Yeah, that's right. By the first Vande Bharat mission, first day from London, she came back, and like Mr. Raghavan, yes, even in our family, even my husband was diagnosed COVID positive some time back, and he recovered. Everyone I know, apart from very few, at least 1%, I would say, nothing to. I travel from here to Chennai, and I stay there for some time. It's not a if you are prepared well, and if you look after the surroundings, and if you quarantine yourself fully, I don't think there's a problem. And some of the hospitals in Chennai, they treat us well, and only 5 days of admission is required for COVID. For extreme cases only, it is just 2% of all the patients are taken in.
Okay. Good. Good. So good to hear that. And so Srividhya is in a place called Mayiladurai or Mayavaram, near that, and that is near another city called Kumbakonam, which is near another city called Chennai. Near means 300 kilometers south of Chennai. So just in case for those of you who may be, these names may be new, not everybody. India is a vast country, and so just to put some context there. And so Kumbakonam, the same city where I was born, my parents were all born from there. So nice to see somebody from there calling in. Srividhya, nice to have you.
Thank you.
Good. So we'll have one more introduction. We have a new guest here, Dr. Manjula Shivashankar. Go ahead and unmute yourself, Manjula ji.
Yeah. Hari Om, everyone.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Internet is little, it's giving little problem. In case if you cannot hear, please raise the hand. This is my first class. I am fortunate to be introduced by Narayanan. I am also a junior student. I have been I'm a gynecologist. My name is Manjula Shivashankar. I live in Bangalore. I work at Manipal Hospital as a gynecologist. I left obstetrics 3-4 years ago because of the emergencies. I was exhausted with all the night calls and everything. Now, last 15-20 years almost, I'm associated with Bhagavad Gita classes through different teachers and etc. Last, in Corona period, in the lockdown, I learned the basics of Sanskrit. Learned Sanskrit in 40 days. Basics, I know, basic. So I could relate to Hasaraprasad because he's interested in Sanskrit with a little Sanskrit talking. That's it. I enjoyed the classes. I'm fortunate to be with you all. Hari Om.
Hari Om. Very nice to have you. Must be such a joy helping patients deliver babies.
It's amazing. Amazing.
Yeah. So yeah, the patient is tired delivering the baby, and not surprising, the doctor also could be tired helping the patient deliver the baby. Yeah, sometimes that can happen. But yeah, wonderful service all doctors all over the world doing during this time, a very stressful period. And we are telling our folks here to just be careful, don't venture out, because even if you're not sick, somebody else is sick, that's an extra load in the hospital, extra load to the healthcare system. And so hospitals in Coimbatore also, the COVID ready hospitals are all full. Just a few beds are just countable in a couple of hands, that's all. So it's a tough situation. And so anyway, but I think that medical community needs to be saluted, and we do that every day. Thanks for joining, Dr. Manjula Shivashankar.
Thank you.
Yeah. Good. So we will stop here today. It's about 8:07 here in Coimbatore. So we will continue the class.
We'll chant the Dhanvantri.
Yeah, we'll chant Dhanvantri, and so we'll continue on Monday. So let's do that. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Dhanvantaraye Amrita Kalasahastaya Sarvamaya Vinashanaya Trailokyanataya Shri Mahavishnave Namaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Dhanvantaraye Amrita Kalasahastaya Sarvamaya Vinashanaya Trailokyanataya Shri Mahavishnave Namaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Dhanvantaraye Amrita Kalasahastaya Sarvamaya Vinashanaya Trailokyanataya Shri Mahavishnave Namaha. Okay. See you all next class. Yeah. Hari Om.
Thank you, Jaykumarji.
Thank you.
Thank you. Dhanyavada.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.